How's it going? Today, we're just going to be hanging out at the range. I'm going to give you some tips, maybe some tricks, maybe just watch me shoot. I'll be talking along the way, show you what I brought with me, which is just a bunch of random guns that I have. Let's just have some fun today. Grab a drink, a snack maybe, sit back, and let's hang out. I'm going to unload the rest of the truck, and then we'll get into it. So here we are, all unpacked. My range table might look a little bit different than yours. A lot of people, when they go out, they only have a few minutes to shoot, maybe an hour. And those of you that have shot before know that that's not nearly enough time. Today, I have the luxury to be able to be out here for a few hours, so I figured I'd bring a few extra things. So just walk you through the table and what I bring. I actually did a video on what my range bag typically consists of. Today, this is way overkill, but I have the luxury, again, of being out here for a few hours, so I figured I'd bring all the stuff with me. So right off the bat, we got my two AR-15s. This is a full 16-inch barrel. This is a 10-inch barrel, so this is considered your pistol with a brace. I have my targets and tape, always important. I do have a DJI drone that I bring with me whenever I shoot for video content. Most of you aren't gonna need something like this, but I will say I recommend getting one if you can afford one, or even a cheaper one. Especially if you're doing distance shooting, right? If you don't have a spotting scope, it's nice to be able to fly down and see what your pattern looks like and then fly it right back to you, so that's kind of cool. I have my safety glasses, my hearing protection, both by Axil, some ammo, and then my pistols. I have the Glock 43, the Beretta 92FS, the M&P 2.0, and then I have my Glock 17 over here as well, which you guys have seen a lot of. And in the front there, you will notice the Springfield 1911. So that's my new gun here. You'll see a video coming out pretty soon about the Springfield 1911. It's a fantastic gun. I have some different loaded ammo here, which I want to try with that 1911. We'll talk more about that. And then obviously I have more ammo over there for the 9mm that we just can shoot through. So all handmade ammo. I do have some store-bought ammo as well that I'm going to put through those guns. But yeah, the premise for this video is really just kind of talking, hanging out with you guys, shooting. And then we'll go from there. I am going to have some things to talk about. Might be a little long-winded in some sections, but I do want to talk to you about some things when it comes to shooting. A lot of it is primarily don't be so hard on yourself, and maybe some tips and tricks with shooting. I see a lot of content creators come out saying how to fix this or how to fix that. Reality of the situation is if you're out there and you're shooting and you're training and you're having fun with it and you're being safe, those are the most important things. I do want to go through some things with you guys and just kind of give my opinion on it. I'm not a professional shooter. I do take pride in my shooting and how well I can do. There's a lot of critics on my channel alone that will tell me that I'm a terrible shooter and how to adjust my grip and everything else. I'm not perfect. I don't do shooting competition, but it is my passion and probably the biggest hobby that I have. So let's get right into it and let's shoot some guns. Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. Beretta 92FS. All right, now I want to do the Springfield 1911. This is the TRP. I love this gun, by the way, beautiful. But I want to try it because the old load that my dad made was for the World War II 1911. It was from 1942, so we made a lighter load for it. When we did that, this ended up stovepiping and jamming. So I'm going to shoot these. These are the old loads, and then I have in my pocket here a magazine of the new loads that are a little bit heavier. So I want to see if I can get it to jam, and then I want to see if the new load works more smooth and what the adjustment is that we need to make on it. So this is the old load. So the slide didn't stay back. Nothing jammed, which was interesting, but the slide didn't stay back. There's nothing in there. That's a good indicator though that this load is a little bit light, because the slide's not going all the way back to get caught by the magazine itself. So we're gonna want to try the new load anyway. I'm glad nothing jammed or stovepiped, but let's go ahead and knock this mag out. Put a new one in, and this is the heavier load. And let's see if there's a little bit of a difference. It feels heavier. Stovepiped. Maybe it needs a good cleaning. Okay, here's a good training lesson. I don't know how well you guys can see me, but what I just had happen was round got jammed. I don't know if that was the empty. I don't know if it was a full round. I don't know anything about what's in this gun right now. So, first thing I'm gonna do is put the safety on. We need to clear this barrel and clear this gun right now. You don't know what is in this gun. If you make your own ammo, this could be what's called a squib load, where the barrel is still clogged with the bullet. Maybe it didn't come all the way out. Now, you'll see my target. It's kind of hard to see where I'm shooting at, but I want to go through how important it is that if you have an issue, like I just had, you stop everything and clear the gun completely. So the way I'm gonna do that is remove the magazine. Magazine's empty. Doesn't matter. Throw it to the side, and now I want to get this slide back and get whatever is in there, whether an empty or a loaded round, out of this gun. So let's go ahead and pull this back. And I want to show you, safety's back on, a round came out, okay? So this gun was loaded. For some reason, it got jammed going into it, going up into the barrel of the gun. So I'm gonna put this to the side. I am not gonna use that round again. That's just me. I'm gonna get rid of it, take it apart, use it again when we reload. But we're not done yet, okay? So the old casing came out, new one got jammed in the barrel. I still wanna make sure that the barrel is clear. So the way I'm gonna do that is keep the safety on. I'm gonna lock the slide to the back, and then I'm gonna hold the barrel to the side and look up at the sky, finger off the trigger, make sure everything's safe. And I wanna see light coming all the way through that barrel. If I see light coming through, I know there's nothing in its path and that we're clear to continue to keep shooting. If I don't see any light, I'm gonna stop everything, dismantle this gun, and make sure that the barrel is clear. So let's go ahead and lock the slide to the back. Point it up at the sky. And I can see light. So the barrel's clear, we're good to go. Get a new magazine, we can continue shooting. Why that jam happened, I don't quite know, but I do know that that's something we're gonna have to look into. So what I'm gonna do next is buy some store-bought ammo. Maybe there's something we're doing wrong. Look at the specs that this gun requires for making ammo. Maybe they're a little too short, too long. I'm not sure, but I wanna make sure that I can get it right so I can make ammo, because it's so damn expensive. All right, so this is something else I wanted to talk to you about. I saw the other target when I showed up, and I knew that I was gonna make a talking point on this because I think it's very important for new shooters or people that go out and just have a good time. At the end of the day, if you're shooting, if you're having fun, if you're trained in firearms to be able to manipulate a gun, put rounds down range, I think that's very important, right? It's our Second Amendment right, and it's something that every American, I feel, should know how to do and should be comfortable with doing. So get a gun, get out to the range, and practice. If you don't know how, find somebody that does know how and take some pointers from them, watch some more of my videos, whatever you want to do, but get trained up on it and make sure that you're having fun doing it and that you're doing a good job doing it. At the end of the day, if you're out there practicing and training, that's the most important thing. So this example that I do here when I show these two targets, it is not to make fun of anybody or poke fun at anybody or anything like that, but I do want to point out two different factors and two different types of shooters, and how important shooting and practicing is, and the pros and cons to both, right? So let's just go ahead and jump into this real quick. So you can look at this and figure, oh, well, they were just having fun, they're just shooting, and that's great. Shooting should be fun as long as you're doing it safely, and that's fine. But you can see that, you know, oh, they're not hitting. Anybody can criticize, which is what I'm trying to get at here. So let's keep that at the forefront of the brain. Anybody can criticize anybody else's shooting, right? Oh, they didn't hit that as much. They didn't hit the brain as much. They have this up. They didn't even shoot the heart, right? They shot the penis a lot. That's, you know, probably guys shooting, right? But you look at all these shots, and it could be somebody having fun, or this could be somebody who's trying their hardest. This could be somebody who's practicing and trying to get good at shooting, and they're just trying to hit the mark. At this point, whoever this person was, and from whatever distance they were shooting at, in my book, they're hitting paper. And that is a step in the right direction, okay? If you can go out to the range and you can put rounds down range and hit paper, you're doing good and you can improve from there. Do not get discouraged if this is the type of shooting pattern that you have. If you're all over the board, that just means that you need to hone in on a few fundamentals and be able to improve day by day when you go out and practice. I've made videos about having the Mantis where you can shoot at home safely using a laser and your cell phone, and you can practice your trigger pull. You can just play with the gun while you're watching TV. Play, I say very, 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 very loosely. No magazine, no weapon, no ammo anywhere near you. Make sure it's cleared 38 times, but handle the weapon. Make sure you're comfortable with it. Find the correct hold for the weapon. And then when you go out to the range, you'll be more comfortable with it. You'll be able to put more rounds down range more accurately. So although these rounds are all over the place, maybe I'm looking into this way too much and these guys were just screwing around and having a good time. Again, as long as you're doing it safely, I think that's good. But if these guys were trying and they were trying to hit here and they got a few flyers and some things that they can work on, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Moving over to this one, now this is mine. These are my two targets here. This one was with the 1911. There's 16 rounds, well, 15 rounds through this one. 8 and 8 minus the one that jammed and I didn't shoot. And then we got this one here, which is my 9mm rounds, right? So I shot a little bit fast with that M&P 2.0. I started shooting a little bit of fast. I did have some flyers on it. So for me, this is something that I need to work on. Quicker sight acquisition and being able to pull the trigger more accurately to have everything land where I want it to land. Now these two look like they're pretty good targets, right? The middle's blown out. You got some flyers here, but there's not bullets all over the place. So you might say, wow, you know, this guy is just so much better at shooting, and I'm shooting over there at this other one, and I can't even hit, you know, the person on a full-size sheet of paper. This is no different than that. When it comes to accuracy, sure, it's a little bit different. When it comes to gun fundamentals, it's a little bit different. But when it comes to coming out and getting comfortable with the weapon and shooting, there is no difference between this shooter and that shooter over there. I would be happy to shoot with somebody like that, and I would be more happy to shoot with somebody like this as well. It doesn't matter. Getting out and putting rounds down range is what matters. And I just kind of wanted to bring that to you guys for what it's worth. Take away from it what you will, but I wanted to talk about that. there you have it. Day at the shooting range. Make sure you're practicing. Make sure you're having fun. Make sure you're being safe. You don't need anything fancy. Yet didn't even use the drone today. Not that it matters. But you don't need anything crazy. If you have a gun that you enjoy shooting, it doesn't have to be a fancy gun. It can be this Glock 43. It's a $400 pistol. Shoot what you can afford. Have fun with what you're shooting and be safe. Leave a comment down below. How do your range days go? Shoot a video and send it over to me. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see some pictures of what you guys got. You can send those over to me as well. Something you're proud of. Something that you go out and shoot, and send me some of your target pictures. And just have fun out there. Make sure when you go that you're prepared. Made a video on how to prepare for the range. Make sure everything's loaded. Make sure you have all your ammo. Make sure you have everything you need. So when you get out there, you can make the most of it. Unfortunately, I don't know if you can hear it, but the thunder's rolling in. It's going to start pouring on me, so I got a little bit of time here to clean up this table and hopefully get to the truck before it starts pouring. So thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys had fun. Hopefully you learned a thing or two. Be polite on the range. Everybody out there is just trying to have a good time like you. And as always, be safe. I'll see you in the next one.